Hi, and welcome back to Fresh BCSC Tech. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can add features to your Chrome web browser in Google to make accessibility options more obvious, specifically text-to-speech options. So it's really helpful sometimes to have text read aloud to you, whether you're wanting to have something read out loud because you need the visual support of having something auditory, if you're someone with low vision, or learn better if you have that option. It's also helpful if you're editing a paper and want to hear your document being read out loud so you can pay attention to any wrong words or phrases that might not sound correctly. And again, if you just want to have that option and provide it to your students so they can read with their ears. There's a reason why audiobooks have gotten so popular. This is a great option for your students to use as they read documents and give another option for representation and perception. So technically, there are a couple of different extensions out there that you can add to Google Chrome to enable text-to-speech options. It's not something that's necessarily built into your browser right away unless you are using a Chromebook. If you are using a Chromebook, there is the ChromeVox text-to-speech tool built in automatically into that device, and you can turn on text-to-speech features by clicking your Chrome menu, which is in the bottom right corner of your device, selecting accessibility, and then turning on the screen reader support or text-to-speech. And then it will read aloud any website if you want it to. If you select something there, and you can have the opportunity to have it read out loud. Or if you're working on a document, you can have it read out loud as you type or read anything that you've selected. So that's kind of cool that the Chromebooks already have that built in. If you want to have that built in, if you are using a Chrome browser on a Mac device or on a Windows device, then there's a little bit more setup you have to do before you can have that feature turned on. It's just adding a couple of extensions from the Chrome Web Store. So Chrome extensions are applications that run and really superpower your browser to where it can be more effective. So you'll go to the Chrome Web Store, and the first one I'm going to show you out of three, the three I'll show you are ChromeVox, Read&Write for Google, and ClaroRead, and they all can have their pros and cons. ChromeVox is one that's made by Google for Google, and what it is it works as a screen reader. Initially, it was designed to be a support for anyone who uses screen readers for low vision or who might be blind or need to have that option, but really you can add it and it's available to you and all of your students if you need it. It's the one that works best with the accessibility settings on Chrome too, if you turn those on. So first what we're going to do is search for ChromeVox. It's ChromeVox Classic that comes up here, and you'll add it to Chrome. Just a word of advice here, when you add this, it starts working right away and it reads everything because again, it was designed to be support for someone who has low vision needs and needs this extra tool to help them out. So it will tell you what your cursor is doing. If you click another tab, it tells you what tab you opened, what menus you're opening. It's very detailed in what it's reading and telling you aloud. With that being said, if you want to toggle the settings on that to where it's reading more or reading less, you have the ability to do that within the extensions menu. So first I'm going to add it, and I'll add it and I'll give it permission. And like I said, it's going to start working right away, so you're probably going to hear it talk.
ChromeVox spoken feedback is ready.
That was almost perfect timing. So it's there, it tells you it's ready.
Window ChromeVox Classic extension Chrome Web Store tab.
And it's reading that tab title out loud to me. If I want to see it so where I can change some of its settings, I'm going to click it here in my extensions menu if it's not across my toolbar.
Alert.
And it tells
Full access.
I'm using it right now.
These extensions.
And I'll click Options.
Window tab.
And
Heading
here
1.
is where I can change the voice if I want to. Have it change some of its own settings and even the speed at which it talks and what specific things it's going to read out loud to me.
Tab.
If
Copy
I
of
want to
George
use
Washington
this
sample
on a
doc for
website,
feedback.
all I have to do
Google
is select the
Docs.
website that I'm wanting
Tab.
to have read out loud, and it will start reading things out loud. It's a little bit different if I'm wanting to use this in a G Suite productivity tool like Docs or Slides. It doesn't read things out loud right away. So if I were to select a paragraph of this sample essay and I want to have it read out loud, you might notice that it doesn't do anything right away. It just tells you that selected text and then doesn't read the selection, which was a little confusing at first. What you have to do is turn on accessibility settings in your document for this to work. So you'll have to click Tools,
Menu bar expanded with submenu.
Accessibility Settings,
Dialog.
and then you'll turn on Screen Reader Support. And now if you notice,
Document content.
ready, there's an
Text
accessibility button that comes across your top menu toolbar now. And what that does is, because we turned on accessibility settings and turn on screen reader support, now it's like we're telling our browser, okay, we want ChromeVox to be the screen reader that works on this and reads things out loud to me. You've enabled that. So if I want it to be reading here, and this is a sample fake document with type
selected,
is modeling some grammar tools. So if it starts to read it out loud and you're like, that grammar does not make any sense, that is why, just to give you a preface. So I'll select what I want to have read out loud. I'll click accessibility.
Menu bar expanded with submenu.
And speak. And speak will tell me what options I have here. So if I want to have it read out loud specific editing features or comments or footnotes, I can, but right now I just wanted to read aloud my selection.
Washington was a delegate to the First Continental Congress, which was created by the 13 colonies to respond to various laws passed. Unselected.
If I click away from that, it stops reading. It does not highlight things that it reads, but again, it's an option to have that screen reader support there and really give your students the opportunity to read with their ears, especially if that's their preferred way of reading a text, and having their option there to help them. So that is how you can use ChromeVox. I want to remove that. I can keep it, whatever have you. The next tool I'm going to show you is another extension on Chrome, and it's called Read&Write for Google Chrome. If you've been a part of my channel or even my blog for a while or know me personally, you probably have heard me talk about this one before. It's one of my favorites, and it's one that we use throughout our school district where I work. And Read&Write for Google Chrome is from this company called TextHelp, and they really focus on giving teachers and students accessibility tools that really help unlock a lot of learning opportunities for our students. There's lots of them on their websites. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about all of the features in Read&Write for Google, but if you're interested in that, I have other videos on my channel that talk about it, as well as blog posts. Specifically, I'm going to show you the text-to-speech feature within Read&Write for Google Chrome and how you can change some of its settings. So, like the other one, what you'll have to do is go to the Chrome web store. I probably should just keep that open. And you'll add the Read&Write extension. And it's this purple one that comes up, and it's by TextHelp. So you'll add it. And a bit of advice here, I love TextHelp and I love Read&Write for Google, and all of the premium features, so all of the buttons and fancy features that come up on their accessibility toolbar, teachers have full access to those for free. If you are wanting to use it with students, students don't have all of the paid features that comes with a price tag. They do have this text-to-speech one though. So this is one that you can use no matter if you pay for Read&Write for Google or if you don't. So that's just kind of a helpful thing to know there. So if you've added it, it will show up as removed from Chrome, so you can remove it. But if it's there, it's there. And to use it, it's the purple puzzle piece. And again, if I want to have it read out loud a specific section of this, I'll highlight it and I'll click the Read&Write toolbar. And it opens up a toolbar here where I have lots of buttons and options. If you don't use the paid version, all of them probably don't show up, but it is the play button. And it will read it out loud to you. And what's nice is that it highlights the words as you go so you can better track with what the person's saying.
George Washington was the first president of the United States. He was also the commander-in-chief of all American forces during the American Revolutionary War.
And there's other features there that can translate it, do whatever you want. Those are some of the premium ones, but it's a pretty awesome tool, can really give that reading support to your students who might want to have this other option for representation. If I need to change any of my settings here, like the voice that it reads in, even the language or the speed at which it reads, I'll click this More button here on the toolbar and Options. And the first one that comes up is Speech. And that is where I can change my language, my speed, and even when it starts to read things out loud to me. So that is how you can use the Read&Write for Google toolbar for text-to-speech. The last option I'm going to show you is another extension, and this one is called ClaroRead. This is another freebie. There are some paid parts of this tool. I've never had to buy anything on this tool for it to fit the needs that I have, but there are options there. There's also lots of different versions of ClaroRead for iOS devices. You can add apps and other features. So it's not just one that only can work on Chrome. They have lots of different versions of this to fit whatever device you're specifically working with. And it's used in a lot of universities, actually, to fit some of their accessibility rules and regulations. So it's a pretty awesome vetted tool because of that. So what's cool is the first time you use ClaroRead, it brings up this little demo page here and shows you how to use it. So if I want to use ClaroRead, it's another extension, so I can access it from my extensions menu. And if I wanted to have it show up here, I'll pin it so it's one of my favorites. So ClaroRead has a little toolbar that pops up, and if I want to have it read something out loud.
Oh, you now have the ClaroRead Chrome extension in your browser. You can use it to read back web pages, PDF files, and Google Docs files. If you have the
All right, and there we go, and it reads things out loud to me. If I want to have this work in a Google Doc, it's the same thing. I would highlight the section that I want to have read out loud, and it will read it. If this isn't showing up, I'll have to open it from my Chrome menu and select ClaroRead Chrome, and then the little window pops up. If it doesn't, you might have to refresh your browser the first time you try and use it. And like Read and Write for Google Chrome, if I click here, I can toggle my settings here and decide what specific voice I want it to be reading out loud in, the speed, and then when it will start reading things out loud. So if I click and play, or if I just highlight something as well. And those are some options for text-to-speech with your browser and how you can superpower your browser with Chrome extensions to have some of these accessibility features available to you. I hope I see you again in another accessibility video or on the blog.